Hello parents, welcome back again, and I hope that the previous tutorial on the first dance strategy along with the template resolved some of your transition challenges for your child and have reduced frustration for you. And today's topic is none other than our visual schedules. I'm pretty sure we are all exposed to, but are we really maximizing its effectiveness? So let's find out. Okay, now I would like all of you to use your imagination with me. Imagine this is your child. So he or she comes home from school and knows exactly what to do without you having to repeat or having to prompt them to follow through an expected routine. So when he comes home, he puts down his bag, then he goes to the shower, puts on clean clothes, eats his lunch, and then do his homework, then play. This isn't just picture perfect, but it is really something that all our children with autism have high capability of accomplishing just because for their need for routine. And when we establish it, they will be independent in accomplishing what they are familiar with until they are met with a new routine again. So yes, it's not an imagination, you can make it a reality today with visual schedules. So a visual schedule is defined as a daily schedule that is made up of pictures or words that can help children with disability anticipate the order of events and activities and increase independence. So it also helps your child to know what activity is taking place now, what will happen after, and then when we indicate with a tick or a strikeout or a erase, that will help them to know the finish of a task, so they know, okay, now there's a start and an end to a task. And lastly, a schedule can also be used to help to notify your child with any changes on that day, which can significantly reduce their anxiety. Does it really work? A systematic review done by Rutherford and colleague in 2020 on visual supports for individuals with autism, both home and school, mentioned that in the home support results, we noted that there's a significant reduce in challenging behaviors and it decreases transitioning time, which we have been working on. Next, it increases in their choice-making skills. And lastly, to increase independence on-task performance. So then they do not need as much prompts and the child is able to execute the routine by themselves. And over here, we have a journal article that consolidated the reviews of parents who homeschooled their child with autism, mentioned that the use of schedule did help them to excite their child and set a routine and structure to minimize sensory triggers. And with this schedule, they are also able to have better control over their own time, so more time management, allowing them to increase more family time and opportunity to spend more time watching their child grow and learn. So what's the one key takeaway? Which is visual schedules build independence, reduces the need for prompt, and then allow them to set a routine to know what to do and what's expected at that point of time. So here are some types of visual schedules. Over here, we have our pictorial visual schedule. And then we also have our written schedule. So pictorial schedules are great for children who have not learned how to read. So if your child haven't learned to read yet, then pictures will help them to identify what's going on a lot easier than words because the words would not make any sense. But if your child is able to read and comprehend, then words would suffice. Research have also indicated the importance of customization of visual schedules in boosting efficacy in the schedule. So we think about customization instead of using like the illustration over here. You want to take a real photo of your own shower head and your own toilet. So you can use the real photo of your house instead of an illustration that you can find off the internet. And then also use words that make sense to your child. So if your child is familiar with the word bathe or like bathing or like pom-pom, then use those words instead of shower because they would not be able to associate. And also because of their lack of dual representation, some of them with the illustration, it might not make sense to them to translate those illustrations to a real life event. Yeah, so it might take a little bit longer if you were to use illustrations compared to real life photos. Another key factor is also to consider the durability of your schedule itself, because a schedule is meant to be used every day, and really you will bring it everywhere, and we don't want it to get wet. So what I would suggest is to laminate it and velcro it if we're using picture cuts. And then it will also provide a way to significantly reduce your workload, because you don't have to keep recreating them throughout the week. Yeah, so just something for you to consider over here. So now, let's just dive into how do we actually introduce the schedule to our child. First, we need to introduce before the onset of the routine. So example, if it's a morning routine that you want to set in place, then we think about introducing it the night before and the morning when they wake up. So you show them that's the first thing that they see in the morning, and then go through the steps with them. But let's say if the routine starts only after they come back from school, then a good time to actually introduce the routine is on their way home. Show them the schedule, show them the visuals, go through the steps so you can tell them, okay, when we get home, this is what we're going to do. Number 1, shower. Number 2, eat lunch. Number 3, do homework. Remember to always involve your child in the process and not just read to them, because you want to get their attention and their acknowledgement on this. Or you could do it right before you enter the house as well. So this is how we can start to introduce, which is before the onset of the routine. Next, once they're done with the task, if it's the first time of introduction, teach them to erase and say, okay, shower finished, let's go, check schedule. So then they get the idea, okay, I'm gonna erase the task and this task is done. This will help them in future with self-efficacy. So when they are done, they know that it's finished, then they can track and erase themselves, then they can go to the next task. Okay, so what I've just shown you is written tasks, right? If it's a picture cut, then you just get your child to remove it and put it in a box. So maybe you can have a finished box at the side. Next, if your child actually derail from the entire schedule, let's say they're supposed to eat lunch, but they got distracted and they went to their toys instead, then you bring the schedule to them, or you bring them to the schedule, or tell them to check schedule. Yeah, then get them to see, or you can show them a visual, check schedule. We have learned a lot about visuals by now. Check schedule, and then get them to go to the schedule and then use their finger to point. Why are we using their finger and not our finger? It's also to build independence in this. So then they will read, eat lunch. Then direct and gesturally point to the table and get them to go there. Lastly is to direct them to the next activity when they're done. So let's say if they finish eating, get them to erase and then immediately point to the next one. Use their finger to point to the next one and then get them to start on the activity. Last of all, this is the most important, which is to reinforce. This is something that we've established in the past few weeks, and I hope that by now you have seen the power of reinforcements and not just expect your child to follow through. All of us need reinforcements. We need something to look forward to. And being generous with your reinforcements has also proven to be effective in helping your child stay on task and also completing a task on hand. In conclusion, I would like to end off with this, that your child will definitely have a bad day, but it does not define you as a bad parent. So having a bad day means they don't want to follow the schedule, or that particularly that day they have a lot more meltdowns, screaming, tantrums going on. First, we need to calm ourselves down, because only when we are calm and regulated, then we are able to approach them with empathy and also meet their needs at that point of time. Yeah, so we need to find out the why, the function behind the behavior. Why is this happening? Before we jump into forcing them to stick through. But I know there are days where there will be discipline, which is going to also help your child to stick through. So I'm positive when you are calm and collected, that's when you are able to see in a bigger picture and make the right call at that point of time. Lastly, you are not alone. I know that creating an effective schedule can be very challenging at times. You might be thinking, Athena, after knowing all this, I know it's very effective, but I don't know how I can start or how I can help my child. And this is where I can bring you support. So feel free to scan the QR code here to contact us. And don't forget to type in schedule in the concerns box so that you get a 15% off your first 3 online sessions. And with that, stay safe, be empowered. I will see you in the next video. Goodbye.